our men have been doing a very good work. Then we felt we must differentiate. This automation which is in our flow is around 20 crores. Not that everyone can think about it, but when I thought paisa post office में deposit करके क्या करना है, so I invested in the machines. I expected them to enhance the productivity in many ways, but I think when men are lazy, machines are powerful. And when men are powerful, machines are slow. I think this is something which I have experimented. I have been having a well-organized manpower, highly trained for the last 18 years. All subsequently added is only to give a cosmetic better look for the market, because as such I am the cheapest. So then people will chala dekha kya job badi jaisa rखा है. This is how इसलिए सस्ता में कर सकते हैं. देखो हमारी पूरा मशीन लगी हुई है, ऐसा मशीन थोड़ी फ्री आता है. They are justifying the cost. And then I went in a spree to buy Ferraris, and all in my floor. Each machine is roughly around 80 lakhs, and we have 50 odd machines on the floor. And then the connecting track is at 20 crores. So that makes for a laboratory, and no one in India have invested anything of this nature. Yeah, in Western world they have, but the Western market is very different. In India, if we see government spending, it's only 3 to 4% of the GDP, whereas 17% of the GDP is spent in US. Healthcare. And it can't go more than that. Yeah, what we charge in INR, they charge in dollar.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Yeah, if you don't have a health insurance, probably you will die of heart attack of looking at the bills once again. So the health coverage in Western world is too costly. So much so, Indians, when they plan to come to India, they take all their healthcare needs in India, including bal katwana. But then bal katwana वो कुछ नहीं कर सकते. So literally speaking, some of the services in Western world is too costly. But when things will get optimized, India would become equally costly. Would become, because India is probably in healthcare 15 years behind in terms of spend compared to US. So in another 2025, you will find a lot of gaps are connected. Healthcare in India is still nascent. People are interested in having twin SIM cards and 2 mobiles in both pockets, and interested in fashion, interested in automobiles, and aur dikao. So that's how the current, you can say, India's focus or India's priorities are. So healthcare will take with another 5-10 years period. Will grow, slowly grow, and I have called some of my staff also, so that let them hear what I talk to people who have come to listen to me. Meaning I am talking. They also get to listen for an hour or two, bit different. Always way to tell target कितना है, और improvement of quality कैसा है, turnaround time क्यों बड़ा नहीं है. This is how I keep on discussing. So I thought today let me discuss a little different. And if you have written questions, I think I will take you through the story of mine, which is a background for you to understand as a person from where I have come, and what was the journey like. Hello. So this is the village where I was born. This is in Coimbatore, a village where some 300, 400 houses were there, and some 1200 people. No, today there are 300, 400 and 1200. Those days it was 100 houses and 480 people. It was like one housing society in Navi Mumbai or Thane. So that was the village. I knew all the people in my village, their age, their habits, their fights, their children, their pampering. So wonderful village. Next one. Now this is the school which I studied. Now I don't think you people will love to send your children to such a school. Am I right?
Yeah.
But you will change your mind in another 2 minutes. जो नीचे कभी बैठा ही नहीं है वो ऊपर कैसे आएगा? Right? So शुरुआत तो नीचे ही बैठना ही अच्छा है.
एक पैर नीचे होना चाहिए.
So this is somewhere I believe we get carried away by the quality of the education is on the furniture of the school, and the quality of the teacher is the dress and the smile he wears. I think it's very different. I had a school in which there were 5 classes and 1 teacher, and that was something very important for understanding how did I make it. Education plays a vital role, but not the numerical marks. Education is understanding about man, his needs, and who are we, where are we, what the country is, what economy is. All those things are education, not just numerically gaining marks. Next one. This slide I like not because it's not that I am there and my children are there and my father is there, but I like it because that's the frugality, right? And it's only a 3 by 5 by size, and if you see they have accommodated well, right? Leave some chairs. There is a way that because somebody may come late, right? And then don't ask staff to go out. And that's logistics. Otherwise, that child cannot sleep. There are 3 words in business today very vital, which were not existing when I was in college. Number 1 word, logistics. Number 2, HR. The 3rd one, information technology. Computer nahi to information technology kahan hota? Right? HR was the word which came much later. Logistics is still many don't understand. These 3 are very vital in today's business, and any of you have any business dreams, first identify these 3 in place. If these 3 are in place, things work to your taste. Otherwise, you are against you. Go to the next one. I am a mathematician. I am not a medical man. I did not have biology in 12th standard, 11th standard. I happened to take maths in high school as elective, then physics, chemistry, a degree, and then I came to Mumbai with a BSc. Then I did my MSc in biochemistry. Then I did my PhD in thyroid pathophysiology. Then it sounds to me that I know engineering. I know medicine, not medicine as medicine, the field of testing in medical field, and fairly comfortable to get going. Any of you don't like mathematics, please change your mind now. Because if you don't like mathematics, it looks like you have decided to fight against life. Mathematics is a very powerful science, and get a hold of it, can get back. You all must be wondering, how will I now get back to mathematics and learn, right? If I can learn Marathi, I don't think it is difficult for you to learn mathematics. If you don't like it, it is difficult. Get back to 5th standard mathematics. And if you don't understand 5th standard mathematics, ask your children. And then by 6th, then by 7th, 8th, until 10th, if you have mathematics comfort, mathematics is no. Afterwards, mathematics is not important. It's all is if compound interest and principal put together is 380 rupees and the interest is 18%. In 3 years, how much was the borrowing? Let us consider it as X. We started like that, right? Mathematics all about it. If you see it, it helps you to solve problems. In business, you get into problems very often. And then, if you are strong in mathematics, the answer appears to be more logical. Next one. That's the VT railway station. This is where I landed in 1982, in the month of August. And I didn't have anyone to receive me. And I stayed in VT railway station for 4 days and nights in pouring monsoon. And Madrasi didn't know that Mumbai will be raining, because in Madras it doesn't rain at all. So I bought leather shoes, didn't buy umbrella. So happened to stuck up in the VT railway station for 4 nights. I will never forget it, because that's where my starting point was. Success in life is x2 minus x1. x2 is where you are and x1 is where you were. And if you have started from platform, is that anything you lose? No. If x1 is big, you have all fear of losing. If x1 is 0, you have absolute success in life, right? So this gives a base, and I will never lose anything and go back to my native place, because what did I bring? And this courage is needed for entrepreneurs, even otherwise everyone, be it in a job, be it in a ecosystem of business. Decisions need to be taken, and if decisions are not taken, you just cannot achieve anything. And a decision of joining this college is a decision, joining this company is a decision. I don't think they are, or marrying this girl is a decision. Right? So very often the decisions are those which changed your life. If the life has not changed, that means you have not taken decisions. This is an institute where I studied for 14 years. So I use the word studied because though they gave me salary, I kept on studying. There are 3 things in life. One is pension, another is stipend, third one is salary. In an order, it is stipend, salary and pension. Stipend is all learning, little working. Salary is all working, little learning. And pension is no working, no learning. Right? So I was given salary, but I converted that into stipend. Because you start learning more, anything, even you are a business or in a job, if you are learning fast, it is a stipend. Even today for me, all my wealth is stipend, because I have not stopped learning. Please don't stop learning. That's the only way to keep achieving. So I became a cadet officer, and I did my MScs and PhDs after my marriage. Many think marriage means now no more study. I want to ask people who are, some of you must be married, some of you are not. Is marriage end of problems or start of problems? Until you get married, you think a marriage is end of the problem. After marriage, you realize actually the problem has started now only, right?
Because this side of the gender you are.
You are right. Oh, don't tell me. Don't tell me. That is not bad. It is for the both, right? It is all, let us say, in village, people make sure 2 donkeys are tied, the left leg of one donkey with the right leg of the another donkey. Don't tell me that one donkey is enjoying. So that's where thyrocare comes into picture. After working for 14 years, somewhere life started boring, and then decisions. What were the decisions? Decision number one: I left Coimbatore without discussing with my father. I took the ticket and showed the ticket to my father. It can be highly irritating to your father when his son has taken a ticket without telling you. But then I knew that if I discuss it, he will get all my relatives, everyone across to counsel me. Right? Second decision was, I married without discussing with my mother. Not that bad. It's a normal conclusion that if you didn't discuss with your mother, that means you had a gunpoint on your head. But then it was love. You mean I am belonging to Jawaharlal Nehru? So my father-in-law was in love with me, and I saw the girl wasn't in the definition of my mother's expectation. Then if I discuss with my mother, she is going to say no. I thought, let me invite her for my marriage. So decision was taken without discussing with the mother. Any unmarried boys, please don't do such decisions, telling that my mentor has taught me. The third one is I resigned my job without discussing with my wife. Government officer job. Son was 5 years, daughter was 3 years. I took a decision to quit. The decision took 20 seconds to take, and went home, and she came to know that I have resigned. Why I am telling this is, decisions cannot be taken if you discuss. And if you don't want to take a decision, please discuss. Because they will all support you not to taking a decision. So this I have noticed, and I want, this is profoundly seen influencing people. There are only two kinds of people on this earth. One who overestimates the risk, another who underestimates the risk. The rest are entrepreneurs. Right? Literally speaking, plenty just don't move out, thinking that पड़ोसी परेशान में है, तीसरा घर में जो है वो भी ट्रक बिजनेस चालू किया तब पूरा आ गया. Overestimating the risk. Go to the next one. You all can see what is vision. In 1997, I had said to my people, that time only a dozen or two were there, the 15-gram plant has a prosperity of 1,000 crores. That was a bit of a overstatement at that time. But today it's an understatement. Today we are aiming at a 5,000 crore in another 3-5 years period. 2020 is today aiming at the 5,000 crore valuation. Go to the next one. You all must be thinking that I must have started on the floor with a similar kind of automation. Mind you, Mahatma Gandhi, as simple as that. Right? Then it becomes his this one. This one was single one. This one was multi spindles, and then comes textile mill. Exactly the same way the business I had grown. Go to the next one. Let's understand what about unique in this, because you should not think that I am a PC Sarkar and something happened to me or it all became a great story. First and foremost, in any business you need to focus. The product should be focused, the delivery should be focused, and you yourself should completely get into focus. I don't think anyone can achieve anything either in a job or in a business without having adequate focus. And the McDonald's is most powerful, it's because it's focused. Once I met Azim Premji in a breakfast, one-to-one, and he asked me, tell in brief about thyrocare. And I took only 4 seconds and used only 2 words. McDonald plus Walmart. McDonald because it's the focus. They don't give you masala dosa and fried rice. And Walmart, what Walmart does? Squeezes the vendor. Maybe Reliance also. Anyone who has a volume will be able to squeeze. So that's volume is right. And then you have 2 options in business. Whenever you do business, either you take your profit from the customer or take it from the vendor. And those who play on volume will have an opportunity to take it from the vendor. If not, you only have to take it from the customer. So somewhere things worked well for me, and today we get around 70% discount in the reagent retail rate for us. My balance sheet is all showing it. That's something where every entrepreneur has to take a call, where I am leaning, more on the customer or more on the vendor side, more on the volume and width and the benefits of it. Second one is a concept. You know, this business, laboratory business has been done by many in the country. All of them used to give 15% collection charges in 1995. Because my machine, it's my technology, it's my brand, they are only collecting syringe and needle, why you need more, 15%. People agreed because those days 15% was a fairly good sum and they are not anyhow doing anything. So they were doing their business. Along with that, if a patient comes, collect the blood, give 85% to the parent brand. Cool. When I came inside, I understood. Let me tell you, I'm a lazy man. A lazy businessman. So what I wanted, that fellow to be given 50%. Straight away. So market was shocked. Why is he giving 50%? I have segregated the entire business into procuring and processing. Procuring is more difficult than processing. Processing is technology, machine driven, pipette in the room under the AC, you have no pain. Procuring means you have to run from city, street to street and bargain and then go 4 times for a collection. Uncertainty, somebody may give later, somebody may refuse later. So I felt he should be paid more, and I was the one first to start with the concept of 50-50. And mind you, all came in. It's in a financial market, if everyone gives 2%, if somebody else gives 3%, all will come to the guy who gives 3%. Of course, somebody may promise 4%, but you will get only 4%. You won't get the capital. You have to be extremely careful. So my guys, all in the industry felt that I am making sense. Then people came to me. And let me tell you, there are always, there are companies which have been closed down always because they could not control the cost. Never because their pricing is low. The pricing is low, you will get a volume. But if you can't control the cost, you will collapse. And why can't they control the cost? You think they don't want to control the cost? It is nothing but efficiencies of the system, efficiencies of the men, floor, material, machines, profit. Mind you, profit cannot come from customer pocket, even it can't come from vendor's pocket. It has to come from lean systems which you create, the efficiencies of the people involved, processes involved. So we have a wonderful concept of only working when the specimen comes to our floor. So the field expenditures are not mine. Only the floor costs are mine. Number of employees I manage are far little because all the field employees are my employees of my franchises. Truncated the turnover and truncated the expenditure. That improves the profit, percentage profit. So these are all bit of unique engineering in the business which my peers did not do. I didn't feel insecure to do it. I think these are all decisions. Of course, quality, if it is not there, no one will come back to you. Once they may come because your decibels are high. Sustainability in a business, today we are 20 years old. if at all, the single major factor which contributed is the quality. Cost. Indian market is very cost sensitive. And you know, nowadays boys don't buy any gadget when they are spending time in Flipkart or Amazon. They only compare and finally realize 27 rupees less in one folder. Is that right? I think this is happening, and such a cost sensitive market, I played straight. The industry was charging something like 100 rupees for X rupees for thyroid testing. I gave 0.6x to the common man, and in 0.6x I gave 0.3x to the franchisee. In the 0.3x, only x is my reagent cost. You all must be wondering, how is that your reagent cost is low when somebody else is not? Simple. When you buy 100 tests a month, it is x. 1000 tests a month, 0.7x. 10,000 a month, 0.5x. Today we buy 1,000 a month. It is 0.3x. So it is all a matter of looking at the volume, which is bandwidth. The costs of reagents are like cost of the bandwidth. Speed, reach. The reach, we are present in around 1200 cities in the country. I was the one who used internet when it came straight as if it has come only for me. 1995 username password comes to India, and I am standing in VSNL to get my username password. And my web server is older than that of Apollo. So got straight into web server. That was the mathematics advantage. That was the non-medical advantage, because if you are in a fraternity where computers are seen as alien, you stand to lose. And by the way, I want to tell and give a warning to all of you: by 2020, desktop will be not seen anywhere, except in one or two places where with a big screen to understand what is to be explained. All will get into smartphone. And if you are developing any applications, IT, everyone, please keep in your mind, desktop is mother-in-law, laptop is sister-in-law, and smartphone is daughter-in-law. That is how these three generations are. Keep that in mind when you work. Okay. And the systems, in our system, if somebody has to make a mistake, they have to plan. So mistakes don't happen by failure. Mistakes happen because of some criminal intent only. To that extent, the entire system has been sealed. And of course, a lean system. My men in my floor produce 1,000 tests per night per employee. Whereas in my competition, they produce only 270 tests per man per night. This is efficiency, and this efficiency fetches you better balance sheet. For the 680 employees, except 30 employees, remaining 650 employees, for 650 of them I am the first employer. That means they are all freshers. Mean employee age is 23. Right? Says that this organization is, though 20 years old, looks like only 2-3 years old, and it is likely to take the industry head on, and preparing in that way makes a lot of sense. Go to the next one. As I said, we network very fast. We use air cargo. You all must be having a bit of misconception about air cargo. Air cargo cost me only 2 rupees per specimen to get from Chennai to Mumbai or Calcutta to Mumbai. Yes. 2,000 specimens are inside a box, for which we pay 4,000 rupees to the airlines. Right? Volume everywhere, it only volume matters. Otherwise, you have anyhow to pay at least 3,000 rupees even if you send 2 specimens. So that's block for competition to get in. And it is good to have barriers. In any industry, if you see barrier, please get into that industry. Because if you are ahead, others cannot come behind you. And if there is no barrier, if you are getting in before you stand straight, there will be 20 more people around you. So this is something which I want to keep in your mind. Dark, अच्छा है. Dark, भूख, अच्छा है. or competition barriers all are related to the ecosystems in which the business is run. Overnight processing, Times of India is not published in the daytime, it is published in the night, or printed in the night. Daytime only news collection. We have another system where daytime is sample collection, nighttime is processing, that is testing. Right? Efficiency high, punctuality high, and news content highest. Is that clear? This was something which is none of my competitors knew. Today they try to, and they work in the night also. We work in the day also. That's how the difference is. Focus in processing, as I said, procuring is given to the franchisees. Our focus is only in processing. Numerical pathology, you all must be wondering what is this. If a mathematician does pathology, that becomes a numerical pathology. Pathology has two segments. One is subjective pathology, where you have an opinion, you have some impression about what it is. Another one is deciding a number which the machine is throwing out. So in the entire pathology, numerical pathology has more money, subjective pathology have less money, because numerical pathology too many tests are there, in subjective pathology too little tests are there. So I came in, I found numerical pathology as my cup of tea. Started working on it. It means the result is a number. Result is not an opinion. Web server based business, and barcode also was not existing till 1995. Bi-directional interfacing, the barcode and the server and the analyzer all are interacting with each other. That is why Kishore Biyani can sleep, because he has stores in 100 odd locations, and he can't have man to monitor, count. It's all sold, inventory, replenished, business is done. By the end of the day, you have a MIS. If any barcode came in and did not get revenue, that is pilferage. Is that clear? Even in our office, it is absolutely barcoded. The web server, the barcode, the bidirectional interfacing, all were ready 45 years back. God was holding it, let Velumani get into business. And only in 1995, all the three started. I think when you are bored and when you get ready and start walking, a lot of ecosystems will come and help you as long as you walk straight. Go to the next one. So these are some of my principles based on which this business has become so successful. First one is take less to get more. ज़्यादा लोगे तो कम ही मिलेगा, कम लोगे तो ज़्यादा मिलेगा. I don't know how far this is true everywhere, but in my case it worked, and it works. It was 2 minutes per 1 rupee per 2 seconds by MTNL in 1995 from Mumbai to Delhi, right? Today 1 rupee 25 paisa 3 minutes Mumbai to Delhi, right? And all the journey is a very clear indication of you take less, you get more. Don't copy neighbor. This is something very often people tend to do, especially the new startups. They start seeing, oh, wo paisa bana raha hai, wo paisa bana raha hai, why not me? Okay, he does this way, then I change the mold and I use the same atta and put it this way. It's happening, and I must tell you, there was no laboratory in the country which was named after a gland. All were naming on meta pathology, Desai pathology, or Pawar pathology. By any chance, if it is not surname, then it's girlfriend's name. Right? And then I felt that I must put it in a very different way, and I started with the Thyrocare, and that itself is not copying the neighbor. In a laboratory, the most powerful test which gives maximum profit is blood sugar. I didn't do that. CBC is blood count is another revenue spinner. I didn't do it. And refusing to do something is strength. and doing everything is weakness. I want all of you to understand, multi-speciality hospitals are not prospering. Single speciality are succeeding, not on the first year. The multi-speciality becomes viable in the first year, then remains viable for the rest of the life. Whereas single speciality takes 5 years to become viable, and next 25 years it is profitable. So this is the thing which you need to keep in your mind, where don't copy the neighbor, resist temptation. This is something if you want to understand it fully well. Why did Tipu Sultan's sword was bought? What was the necessity? Who bought it? Now where is he? Temptations. I just gave you one example, right? There is one journalist in Goa jail. Tejpal, right? What was the problem?
Temptation.
Right? So I think be it in career, be it in business, be it in politics, everywhere the temptations only get. Vasundharaja, Sinde, sun today compared to Vadera. Right? All temptations. Focus or fail. I don't think there is anything you can succeed without a focus. And decide or discuss. I told you 3 vital areas where decisions were taken without discussing, and you have no choice. You have to discuss or decide. And learn to reset. Everywhere we make mistakes. If the mistakes are only for a couple of fortnights, it's not damaging. Couple of months, it is not damaging. Even 1 or 2 years, it may not damage. But by any chance you have an ego, it's over. We make mistakes. We have to correct. Every year school, when the school starts for the next year, don't we think this year I will read from the first day? Is that right? Oh, wonderful. ऐसा तो कोई स्कूल में पढ़ते ही नहीं है. Right? I get my boys, as I said, all freshers. Literally speaking, they are very innocent. They have not got anything wrong. Because only when you try to get anything right, you get it wrong, right? Go to the next one. It's an image, it will take time, right? So this is what I have seen. Go to the next. Don't worry, you can now put it up. From now onwards, I'll tell them what is only the past needed some kind of support visually. So that's business. Today we do around 200 crores of turnover. Started at Baikala with a 200 square feet of rented garage. I lived in that garage in 1996 without a toilet. And today the entire building, entire business, all have been made out of that T3, T4, TSH doing at 100 rupees. Cheapest it looked. All pathologists in Mumbai were talking that I must be Jayalalitha's Benami. Very happy to listen to that. And whenever I went to my native town, Coimbatore, people used to tell this man is Sarath Pawar's right hand. Right? Whether you collect the questions, I will answer to them. Because I can keep on going. I need to give you some kind of clarity. You collect from the remaining. The way technology has revolutionized, do you see something similar happening in pathology lab? Yes, in the pathology laboratory, tomorrow, let me explain you, pathology has 2 segments. One is sick care, another is preventive care. My competitors are busy in sick care, I am busy in preventive care. And I want you to understand what's the difference between these two. Sick care discusses about diseases. Preventive care is caring for some disorders before they set in. Sick care, patient is in hospital or a clinic. Preventive care is in an office or house. Sick care, patient is horizontal. Preventive care, patient is vertical. It's a very totally different segment. So, what you call as disruption has started coming in. First disruption in pathology was done by me. I did that 1995 itself at Docomo. What is Docomo? Lowest possible rate. 1 paisa per second, right? When it came, it was a shock to us. And that's the last shock. If you try to give some more stock, the stock is waste. So similarly, we also did a Docomo in 1995, and things are changing. People are becoming aware. People will order for blood test almost every quarter. The rich people feel that it's worth to search for any abnormalities in time. We get sometimes somebody sending a mail to us. Tomorrow, my home, I have arranged for a party. There are 18 people, get together family. Can you come tomorrow morning 8 o'clock before breakfast so that you can collect for all 18 people? Is that making sense? It's going to happen. The tests are becoming cheaper, so healthcare will be consumed more proactively, and the income levels are growing. So you will find a great. But technology, will it disrupt or will it change? Some people are telling there can be a machine which will be only as small as a pen. Dream, please, entrepreneurs, start dreaming. The technology says the machine will be as small as a pen, and you go and put in blood one pen and it will show all parameters, abnormalities and values. This is a dream. But will it happen or not, we don't know. When it will happen, we can't truly predict. Understood. You have written 2 questions. What is the second question? Hub and spoke model. How do you tackle the lab doc partnership at POS level? Point of care level. Lab doctor partnership is very useful for me, and they will continue because familiarity, insecurity, all brings people together. I support labs. My business is not against lab. My business is for the lab. So my business continues. This hub and spoke model, today I have a single lab. This was until January. February, March, April, until today I have opened 3 more labs. Delhi, Hyderabad and Coimbatore. I am opening another 3 labs before the year ends. I am likely to have 25 labs. You all must be wondering, I will lose my profitability. Let me tell you, if you have too much of profitability, that is not good for the company. Shocking? If you have too much of profitability, that is not good for the long-term health of the company. You must dilute. So now I am putting in more floors to go more closer to customer so that my business grows. Turnover growth is more important than the profitability. Please note, and that is the only need. How to find strength in difficult times? I don't think that there is something called as truly a difficult time, unless otherwise you are like Lalit Modi. And then fair things as per the provisions of law, as per the trust between employee, employer, or a customer and you have not done anything wrong. So there cannot be a truly bad time. Yeah, bad times do come sometimes, like Maggie has got into bad times without even knowing it. I don't know whether all framed against Maggie is right or wrong. It's a bad time. I must tell you, how to find strength in difficult times, I will be able to answer only if I have had a couple of difficult times. Fortunate for me, business has been growing to best. I didn't see truly a difficult time, but there were difficult times before starting the business. But if you take a difficult time and manage it well, I don't think there can be one more difficult time. I think the way in which you handle issues make the issue itself smaller. It is not that I didn't have difficult time, but I can't say there was a difficult time because I didn't sense them as a difficult time. Today I have a difficulty. I will explain you what is that difficulty. If I remove my shoes, if I remove my socks, I can't walk in the street because my skin of my foot has become so soft. Even the smallest patthar gives me the biggest pain. But I have spent 20 years of my life without a chappal. Have you understood what is bad time? difficult time. It all depends upon how cozy you lived in your life, that ordinary time becomes a difficult time for you. I think it's all in your mind. Anna Hazare was in Tihar jail. Was it a difficult time? When he came out, he started running, though he was fasting for 18 days. Mind you, bad time is your definition. Bad time is not a true bad time. How do you market, Sasindra? I didn't market. Are you surprised? We didn't have a marketing department until we finished 15 years of Thyrocare. Now you all must be wondering how did business come in. If you are intelligent, you can make the competition to do your marketing. My prices were so low, my competition didn't know, their marketing staff didn't know what to do. They had a marketing department, big department for quite some time. The minute I attacked, it was like defending Lasit Malinga. They didn't know how to handle it. So what they did, they went to the market, went to the client and told him, you know Thyrocare? Don't give sample to them. They are very bad. They don't do the test. They just give the value. Don't give to Thyrocare. Do you know Thyrocare? So all my competitors went and talked for Thyrocare, against Thyrocare, and when somebody is talking for or against, you got in marketing. Mind you, one pathologist called and told me, there was a man from your competition. He was in the room for 45 minutes and 42 minutes he was only talking about you. Marketed? As simple as that. Yeah, everybody markets in a different way. Somebody says you download my app and take a free ride. That is a marketing, right? Marketing is infinite ways. Everyone can choose one. And for me, keeping the rates low, doing what you call as a disruptive push made my marketing done. I have some health screen as a magazine. I'm a good marketing guy. I'm a good brand positioning guy. So marketing not necessarily means with a tie-clad man going and discussing in the market. There are many things. Modi in markets.
So what is the technical level? You would have put some ads or like that, no?
All came after becoming rich. इनिशियल चुपचाप बैठा था, काम कर रहा था, अच्छा रिजल्ट था, रोज काम बढ़ रहा था, 2 सैंपल था, 4 बना रोज, 8 बना रोज, 16 बना रोज, 50 बना रोज, 100 बना, जब भी 500 बना, मुझे मालूम पड़ा बिजनेस जीत गया। और उसके बाद टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया को नजर में आया, ये ऐसा कोई लड़का टेस्ट करके बैठा है। आया, बोला यू टेक 25 करोड़। I didn't know what are they telling. I thought somebody is coming and giving straight away 25 crore. तो लक्ष्मी को मना नहीं करना है, तो ले लिया। लेने के बाद बोलता है मुझे वापस दे दो। Because Times of India, when they put in money, you give the money back to them for what you call as advertisement. 25 crore they gave and 25 crore I paid for advance for advertisement. अभी तो advertisement करना ही पड़ेगा. Marketing was not a choice. I wanted the relationship with them because I felt that time their relationship could give some credibility for me. And then subsequently full page advertisement. इतना बड़ा advertisement रोज जा रहा था, मुझे लगा बहुत patient आएगा, लेकिन बहुत investors आए. Right? Who patient comes, brings money in only hundreds and thousands. Investor brings in crores. Life is, all my marketing helped me to get my investors, not my patients. How to overcome the initial stages of business? What is that? How to overcome the sales
how
challenge?
to overcome the sales challenges in the initial stages of the business? Because when the concept is new,
I must tell you, all problem starts only because of Excel sheet. बिजनेस चालू करने से पहले एक्सेल सीट में लगा लेते हैं थोड़ा इधर उधर टिल्ट करके Y1, Y2, Y3 को थोड़ा impressive बना लेते हैं. Then all pressure comes that I am unable to make that happen. I didn't have an Excel sheet, nor I bothered about what is going to truly come. I think for me the business was very cool. Maybe those days this kind of pressures were not there, and I didn't create a company for sale. I didn't create a company for valuation. I created a professional livelihood for me, thinking that my family will live probably for a couple of generations comfortably. And then subsequently, for me, the valuation became a shock. Want to understand how this valuation game was? Yes? I didn't want to sell, but then investors are walking, and then finally you can't always say no. So I thought my company should be worth some 300 crore. That's a guess. Valuation is a guess. There is no true valuation for stock. So I told my valuation is 400 because thinking 300. If I tell 400, the guys may run away. And there was a coffee going on, and then they told, sir, this is too much. We never expected this number. You asked me, I told a number. You either say yes or you say no. No, sir, but this is too much. Have coffee. So they had coffee. Sir, how to proceed? You told now, I am unrealistic. Sir, still we can do. No, come next time. Came after 6 months, 9 months, and I told, and they came to my room, they were literally agreeing for that 400. Then I told, it's 500 now. Sir, just 9 months back it was 500. Then why you 400? Why you didn't take that time? Now it's 500. Coffee they couldn't drink. I told I want 600. They didn't know what to do. They are in love with you. Mind you, if an investor has fallen in love with you, you got the best value. Literally speaking, I could tweak with all. There was an NDA. What is known as NBO. Non-binding offer. So they gave a non-binding offer at 540. I accepted it. The deal was supposed to get through by November 30th. And I was waiting when November 30th will come. And November 30th has come, the deal was not through. Then I asked my CFO, he said it will take another 10 days. Then I sent a mail to the party with a subject line with only 2 words. Time over. Is that clear? Oh, within another half an hour, I was in bathroom and 7 phone calls were unattended. And then kept on coming. I didn't take a phone. And then somebody known to me after 3 hours called me, sir, he is telling that you are not lifting the phone. I told him, then why did I lift your phone? He didn't know what is the answer. I told him, if the telephone display name, if it is pleasure, you pick up. If it is pressure, you can't pick up. So tell this to him. So he told it to him, sir, he is feeling pressure and he is not able to pick up your phone. Then he himself told, there is a small problem. I have delayed my deal closer by 7 days. Ask him what penalty he wants. Right? I told I want additional 20 crores to be given to me. 7 days, additional 20 crores. If they sat and calculated, it works out to be 600 crores. Done. I told him if he is agreeing, you tell me, then I lift his phone. Before evening 6 o'clock, I lifted the phone. Is that clear? And no merchant banker, no one will be able to get you anything. All guys come and bluff. Right? It's all your own strength, your own product, your own comfort to run the business, and you don't need funds. This was my comfort. This company has never borrowed, not even the first day of business or first year of business or 10th year of business, not even today. There is no need for funds. So all of you must be wondering how we manage the funds. Is the next question? Yeah, where funds go away? Let me ask you, when the revenues come inside, what problem you have? If your expenditures are low, if your revenue is high, you get money. So what is important? Keep the expenditure low. Look, I was a pathologist doing all the kind of tests what is needed. So salary was an option for me. So lot of things helped me in such a way. Let me tell you, if you want to be successful in business, you have to be a frugal businessman. The frugality, if it is missing, it is going to be a big challenge for you to do anything. And most probably, even in the first year of business, we had started putting money into the bank. And until today, the bank balance on your balance sheet will dictate more valuation. Because you don't need money. And mind you, all investors, and go and see who has money in the balance sheet. Paisa, share doge. And if you have taken too much of borrowing, they wouldn't be very keen to be associated. Oh, this is the actual scenario in the investor space. Right? If technologies changes or disruption happens, what happens to your investment in business? I must tell you, tsunamis can happen. It's not in your control. And tsunamis can happen in business, even that may not be in your control. But by any chance, some technology, somebody is getting and disrupting. Tu kya soya tha kya? Mind you can't continue to run a business if you don't keep abreast yourself of what is happening around you. No disruption happens overnight. All disruption starts at least 1 year in advance, 2 years in advance. And they don't think you should be scared of it. You should be prepared for it. You should be the disruptor. You should not be the disrupted. Disruptions are mandatory. It is going to happen, and it is a part of life, part of any civilization. But if you are a victim of it, then this question is right. I think I am young enough. Many of you must be thinking I am old, and I keep reading, and all innovations, whatever IT brings in, I also try to implement. I am not ahead of many disruptions, but I am not going to be the disrupted. I will be a part of disruption, and I will be in my space. I am the disruptor, and to get someone who disrupts me, that means the society has benefited. I have made enough money. And the next part of this question is, what happens to your investment? Ujjwal go ahead. But where? How much money I have invested? 1 lakh rupees I have invested. Whatever this disruption happens, cannot take away that also. I think those who borrow heavily, yes, Amazon will have problem, Flipkart will have problem, even what you call as Quicker will have problem, because all these guys are building a business by borrowing and taking upfront every commitment from everyone, and success and failure will completely collapse them or will make them very big. Yet those simple, straightforward business has come to this stage. Even if disruption takes place 10 years, it will take for me to see the complete effect of disruption. I am going to be a part of it, and I am not going to be a victim in that. What is the next step in your business growth plan? What areas in this industry do you feel there are still scope for entrepreneurs to work upon? I must tell you, this space is very good space. There are huge gaps. In many places, there are huge gaps. The business of hospital, the business of healthcare still is not organized. It is not as organized as bank is, pharma is, telecom is, retail is. This is highly unorganized. Whenever business is highly unorganized, there is enough scope for creating value and wealth. I must give you some examples in this space, not that I am the only hero, there are some more heroes. There is one hospital called as Aravind Eye Hospital, and they make surgery of eyes at 1/4 of the market rates, and still they make 50% profit. Then, like eye surgery, there are how many surgeries possible in your body? Right? I made money out of 15 grams of plant. You are 100 kilos. So both छोड़ दिया, both कम किया, right? Don't ask me what is more left out. Everything is left out. Only three kinds of people. One who can see what others can see. Second, those are set of people who cannot see what others can see. The third set is can see what others cannot see, and they are the entrepreneurs. And they are the managers, they are the leaders. So, बहुत कुछ है. If you want a list, I can give you a list. Very big list. Then you will have a problem of choosing one girl out of 1,000 girls. If one has to build thyrocare today, what he or she should do? Thyrocare cannot be built again. That 6 of Yuvraj cannot be hit by him again. Right? It was that day, that match, that bowler. For me, it was that 1990, late 1990s, where market was unorganized, rates were comfortable, and I was bindas. I was innocent. Today to play such game, I am also scared because खोने का डर उसको ये है जिसका पास बहुत कुछ है. उसको डर नहीं होता है जिसका पास कुछ है ही नहीं है. 1996 में मेरा पास था भी कुछ ही नहीं है. आज तो बहुत कुछ खड़ा है. थोड़ा कुछ सोचना पड़ता है. Coming to creating one more thyrocare, even I myself cannot do. But please note, there are many thyrocares possible in the healthcare. In thyroid, the game is done. But in liver, it is not done. In various other illnesses, it is not done. And I must tell you, a lot of scope is there. You have to do exactly how things of thyrocare was done. Work on a model, make it lean, get it clutter-free, think the country as the market, create IT solutions, and work at a low cost. Find the all businesses have to be first analyzed for what are the cost components in that business. And by any chance, if you see some of the components costs are unnecessarily high, you see a business. Today we have started a water testing business. Along with blood testing, we have a water testing business. Because we found water testing laboratories are charging too high. Their bill was 10,000. When we sat and analyzed, their cost is only 600. Now why not we do it? Charge 2,000. Why you charge 10,000? So we are straight into that business, charging 2,000 rupees. There is a likelihood if I get 100 crore turnover, there will be 60% EBITDA. Please calculate a business at 100 crore turnover. Don't calculate anything less than that you do or somebody else tomorrow does. If the business cannot go to 100 crore turnover, that business is less likely to sustain for too long. And in 100 crore turnover, if there is a possibility of seeing a 50% EBITDA, it's a great business. And mind you, every business on 100 crore turnover will have a 50% EBITDA, including MTNL Air India when they touch the 100 crore. Today they are not profitable because of various other reasons. But mind you, scale is important. Without scale, you can't do business. And you look at the costs in it, there are plenty of thyrocares possible. What keeps you motivated to keep going on? I don't know what keeps me motivated. This question many people ask me. I must tell you, the motivation, if it comes from elsewhere, it is temporary. If it comes within, it is permanent. And somewhere I have a frank answer. My employees motivate me. Some of my employees work as if they are 100% stockholders. Then anyhow, I am not supposed to sit lazy and watch them. So I work, literally speaking, that's one of the greatest motivation. That motivation is market, motivation is happiness in providing a better solution, A lot of things very difficult to define how one gets as a successful entrepreneur motivated. Plenty of things. How do you keep the employees, especially freshers, motivated, excited to work at Thyrocare? Not that all of them are excited and motivated. There is a spectrum of motivation levels. Some of them connect themselves well with the organization, its goal, and they see a long-term prosperity because they connect with the country, connect with the other industries. They feel happy that they are in healthcare industry. So good number of them are self-motivated. And many are a bit of confused, cluttered. We conduct some kind of interactions, make them to see the better positive things, and they do. There is a percentage which always wait in the social media entire day, updating their CV 3 times in a week. So that also is a part of life. We can't stop it, because if they don't enjoy, what can you do? You can't do. But then I have been successfully retaining what I need, not I could retain all. In fact, you shouldn't retain all. Industry is very powerful. My competitor may pay 3x for an employee who is working here. Allow him to first have 3x. Right? So we take freshers, motivate them, create something out of them, and first 2-3 years they are learning. So here we give an opportunity to learn. We don't have a target-based pressure. We realize that employees should perform on their own. They should work 2-3 hours in a day at least. And if at all any entrepreneurs are thinking that if you get an employee, he will work for all 8.5 hours, you are absolutely wrong. People would go on and off from the same chair without getting up. And then sometimes they are so involved, even if they are working for 3 hours, it is 10 hours work. Sometimes they are so focusless, they work on the entire day, it's not even half an hour's work. All extremes are there. As long as average productivity is above the average of the industry, you must celebrate and you must keep going on. Right? I think that some of the questions which have been given, I have answered. I told Haritos by 10:30 I will stop. 2 questions I will take if you have.
I found 2 very interesting facts. One is the focus and quality, both manage cost. So there could be many ways of how do you ensure quality in a very less cost model. So my question is precisely on the infrastructure. Let's say there would be main kind of infrastructure you use. It could be a journal machine, it could be maybe a local one. Well, that's how you offset the cost. So I want to understand that. Have you ever thought about in that lines, or you went for the best in the world and still brought down the cost, similar like or
right? Let me explain to what is quality aspect in laboratory business. If I do 100 tests a day, 10 mistakes will happen. If I do 1,000 tests in a day, 15 mistakes will happen. If I do 10,000 tests a day, 25 mistakes will happen. If I do 100,000 tests a day, 50 mistakes will happen. The volume goes up. Number 1. Number 2, if you want to have the best potato vada, where can you have? No.
Where it's made in Raj.
Where everybody is waiting for the next batch to be unloaded. Right? He puts on it, before the next batch gets ready, it's all over. Whereas if you go to Juhu Beach, कल का potato vada मिल जाएगा, क्योंकि उसका रोज 15 ही बिकता है, एक दिन में वो 25 बनाता है. Is that clear? Quality is our volume. And when volume is there is a better quality, number 1. Number 2, today we spend 3 crores in quality control. If your turnover is not 3 crores, how will you spend that 3 crores? So it all happens when you have a volume. Mind you, any one mistake wrong going is loss for me by a few crores if it becomes an issue. So it's a huge pressure on us to build and to keep. But still coming back to your question, it is the machines which don't give the quality. It is not that reagents which give you one reagent better quality, another reagent is. They are all slightly helping. It is a system which gives you the best quality. And take people and make sure that they do the things in right way, so that there are minimum errors and maximum quality. One last question.
as per you, is it worth it that taking a high risk in terms of all that you have got,
Yeah.
put it in the business?
He is asking a risk. I am available in Twitter at Velumani A. Right? In that I have mentioned, you have two options in life. Either you can romance with risk or risk with romance. Risk, you have to romance. If you don't take risk, you don't achieve anything. So if you ask me, if somewhere I sense a potential business, I will put all my wealth and including me into it, because I am convinced that that is worth it. So please note, there is no way you can run a business if you are scared of risk. Right? Get out and start working in a company for an employer, getting salary. It works very well because you have least risk and no risk. But once you are into a journey of entrepreneurship, if you don't take decisions, you are out. And if you avoid risk, you are dead. It's a very different space. You must take risks. At the same time, please take such risk which does not make your children to suffer. Is that clear? And mind you, keep something for the family for next 10 years. So let us imagine what will I do in case if I see some tempting offer. Let us say my family needs for next 25 years something like 2 crores or 3 crores. उसको ज़्यादा खा नहीं सकते हैं. Right? Let us not unnecessarily think that Ambani's intestine can accommodate daily a crore. Absolutely simple. 52 inches is what from it starts and ends there. There is no big or small for anyone. And don't need anything more than 2-3 crores. And keep aside, and that is only 1% of all your wealth, or even less than that. And risk the remaining 99%. Please always keep your family safe. You risk you. Don't risk the family. You can risk everything because it is you who are seeing. Family is innocent. Please save them. Please stabilize them. Make sure that they don't suffer. This is a very important advice. When I left government job, I had around 2 lakh rupees in my savings bank. And my family needed per month only 5,000 rupees. So how many months it was sufficing? 40 months. 40 months is sufficiently long time for you to risk. Is that clear? So I want all of you to make some calculation. Otherwise, it would be a bit of calamity. One more question last, if there is any. Right. Otherwise, yeah.
When you started out, you did not have access to customers. So, what made you have that confidence that you will be able to access customers with entrenched competitors?
I never expected I will get more than 100 samples a day. Right? 100 samples a day कहीं से भी मिल जाएगा करके एक confidence था. And then ये 1000 बना तो मैंने ground floor से first floor तक jump मारा. Then अभी 10,000 के ऊपर गया. अभी in another 24 months we must do 100,000 per day. I think that these are all. I want all of you to keep in your mind. One thing you never should have is expectation. Be it a job, be it a marriage, and be it a business. It is all the expectations which drive you towards suicide, distress, divorce, resignations. And if you don't have an expectation, things will happen. Of course, if you don't have an expectation, you can't put any dream. But mind you, it is unrealistic expectations which results into a great distress. So I didn't have an expectation. I think I got everything bonus. And lage raho, kaam karo, focus rakho. For the last 18 years, I have been living in the laboratories. My neighbor is Prabhat Dairy. This side it is the Onion shop. Samne Mercedes. I always wanted to buy a car, but then today I have 50 Mercedes standing below my building, and every day I can match with my Mercedes color with my wife's blouse color also. So not mine. सामने वाला Mercedes का showroom वाला है. Right? Live frugal. I have not bought a house. I have not bought a car. No. And I have made a business. And business pays you. If you buy car and house, you have to pay for it. Is that right? And there are only two kinds of people. One who has bought a house, one who has been a successful entrepreneur, the remaining who have bought houses. Because once you buy a house, when the last installment is paid, the last hair became white. Is that clear? And absolutely over all of your HDFC followers, making Deepak Parekh the richest man. So somehow I didn't get tempted in that trap, and I'm happy and comfortable. Today I can buy a house next to Antilla if I can't make an Antilla. But at least I haven't thought that I should go somewhere and walk with rubbing the shoulders of big people. I'm happy my employees are my relatives, and we have good time, enjoying time. I am the king of good times. Thank you very much for coming, and it was a pleasure. Had I seen the entire room with budding entrepreneurs, I would have been very happy. But you know, मौसम भी ऐसा है, लोकेशन भी मेरा ऐसा है, और सभी के पास सभी के लिए वक्त नहीं होते हैं. So thank you, Paritosh, for considering my venue for this purpose. And I am sure you got something out of interacting.
Experience and reading about you in the economics. Desire to listen to you also.
Thank you very much, and I wish I become much taller as a personality and continue to grow so that I inspire people, because my success is going to be one of the little motivating success for people to read, because it started from nowhere, right? And I wasn't lucky enough like Steve Jobs or somebody to make some breakthrough in technologies, and I don't like Steve Jobs, for your kind information. You know why I don't like? Had he sold iPhone for 20,000, today Samsung would have not been there. He was the fool to have allowed Samsung to come inside, right? Thank you very much. Good luck. All the best.